This video is about the Antichrist, or the so-called false Messiah, or the one-eyed false God. Whatever the name is, he is the biggest and only reason for any and every political, social, or financial change that has happened, is happening, or will happen in the time period starting about 500 years ago and going forward till this day, and containing every event that is to happen in the near future. Everything is being prepared to create the landscape for the arrival of this being who will claim to be God. Let's talk about it. First of all, I must say that this is too big a theme to put in one video. It has so many sides and events connected together through the years, and going forward, we will need to dissect it in several videos to try and explain everything and make a picture that will make sense and light that bulb in the heads of everyone watching this. To understand the big picture, we must know who this person or being is. He was mentioned in every monotheistic religion, and God warned us about him and his coming at the end of times. If you are a Muslim or are familiar with some of the Islamic teachings and traditions, you will have known and heard of the one-eyed false Messiah. This is how he was described by the Prophet Muhammad. When he talked about him, he used to go in such details that his companions would think he is around the corner, coming out right there and then. He used to say that of all the strife and horrible events that would appear at the end of times, the Antichrist is the most dangerous and biggest event that will change everyone's life completely. He said the false Messiah would have many miracles given to him by God that he would use to convince people that he is God and demand to be worshipped. He will enter every home on earth. There will not be a place on the face of earth where he will not come, enter, and demand worship. So this is an important fact that will explain some of the events around us these days, which are small steps in preparing the scene for his arrival. The Prophet Muhammad said, "If he comes out while I am still alive, I will stand up to him and defend you. But if he comes after me, then everyone is responsible for himself, and I pray God will give you strength." Then he described him in detail as a young, short man with legs like you would describe today a cowboy's legs, not straight, whose hair is very nappy and with an ugly face, and his right eye is completely put out, like it is covered with skin, and as if it is not there, while his left eye is in a bad shape, like a squashed grape, but he can see with it, and on his forehead is written Kafr, which in Arabic means the non-believer, and everyone would be able to see it, read it, and understand it. If you live in his time, seek refuge from God by reciting the first verses of Surah Al-Kahf, for he will have powers to perform miracles that will easily persuade people that he is God. He will come out from a place between Iraq and Syria and will go and wreak havoc all the way to his right and to his left. So my Muslim brothers, you have to stand your ground. Then the Prophet said that he would remain on earth 40 days, one day as long as a year, one day as long as a month, and a day as long as a week, while the rest of the days are as your normal days. And when he comes, a famine will rule the earth, and there will not be any rain for a long time, and people will be starving. Then he described how fast he would be like the wind pushing the clouds. He would come to a nation and call for them to worship him and follow him, and they would do so, and he would then order the sky to rain on them, and it would, and their crops would grow bigger than ever, and their stock would produce milk more than ever. Then he comes to a nation, but they refuse to worship him, so he goes on while they scream, begging for mercy. Then he comes to a bare land, and he orders it, and it spits out all its gold and treasure, and this treasure follows him as a bee swarm. Then he meets a fat young man, whom he hit with a sword and cut him in half vertically. Then he calls upon him, and he comes alive again, as if he was never cut. He goes into every house and demands worship from every living human, and he comes with 2 rivers at his side, a river of water and a river of fire and lava, and if you disobey him, he orders you to choose a river and jump into it. The Prophet warned us to jump into the fire, for it is actually a river of water, and the seemingly river of water is a river of fire and lava. That is one of the reasons why he is called the lying Messiah in the Arabic language, Al-Dajjal, because he lies about everything, and whatever he says, the opposite is true. The Dajjal will not be able to enter only Mecca and Medina, because it will be guarded by armed angels. But one of the first nations to follow him would be more than 70,000 Jews from a place called Aspahan or Isfahan from today's Iran, while many people will run and hide in the faraway mountains. He will rule until the day he and his armies surround a white mosque on the east side of Damascus in Syria, which exists even today, where a small group of Muslims would seek refuge with their leader, Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Mahdi. They would be locked in and begin the noon prayer, when suddenly Jesus Christ will descend down, being carried on the wings of 2 angels, with his hair dripping water when he tilts it down, and pearls drop when he raises his head up. Every Muslim will recognize him immediately, and the Mahdi will retreat to allow him to lead the prayer. But Jesus will give him a sign to continue the prayer, and he prays behind him. After the prayer, Jesus will open the door of the mosque, and at that moment when the Antichrist sees the real Christ, he will turn around and start running away as fast as he can, and behind him his army. Jesus will follow him until he reaches him, and when the breath and the pleasant smell of Jesus reach the Antichrist's nose, he will melt where he stands, like salt in water, and that will be the end of him. After that, Jesus will break the cross and preach the one religion of worshiping God, the one and only, and he will rule for about 7 years, until he and his companions are told to run and hide in the mountains, because the people of Gog and Magog are out from their captivity, and these beings are the real zombies. These are beings created by God that no sword nor any weapon can kill, and they are in the billions coming out and killing every living being on the face of the earth, but we will address it in another video. These are just the headlines of the prophecy of the Antichrist or false Messiah. In the coming videos, we will explain that he is living now, but shackled on a deserted island, while his minions are preparing the playground for his arrival. More details to come with some surprising evidences, so stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit the notification button and the like button. And don't forget to share and watch this video here about how some of the jinn or aliens became Muslims and why.